Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me today is Sumit P, and we're going to talk about the exodus of illegal immigrants into Italy. Picture this, guys. There's a small island, Lampedusa. Population 5,000. You know the amount of immigrants that have stormed in just one big push? 6,000. How is it possible? How is it possible for 6,000 illegal immigrants to come into one small island and overwhelm it? What is really going on? To know all this and more, let's welcome Sumit PG. But before that, please like this video. If you have not subscribed, do subscribe and comment as well as share. Thank you very much. And Sumitji, Ram Ram, how are you?
Sri sir, Ram Ram, Namaskar, Pranam, Vanakkam, Sadhuva. Thank you very much for the invitation. Always a pleasure to be on the show.
तो सुमित जी, Lampedusa, ये कौन सा शहर है जी? ये कौन सा आइलैंड है? एक द्वीप है. This is just a small island, and in this, it is now gotten overrun by illegal immigrants. So we can always talk about the usual suspects that Soros is the one who's funding this. But walk us through a little bit on what is happening. Is it because of some of the statements that the Italian Prime Minister has been making lately? What is going on?
Sri sir, in the name of Bhagwan Shri Ganesh, let's do the Shri Ganesha. The most important thing here we have to understand is, first of all, when we talk of immigration to Europe, majority of it, more than 95, 97, 90% of it is Islamic immigration. Let's be clear on that. Let's not try to sugarcoat it by saying immigration. Which kind of immigration? Which are the immigrants? Now, if you see the rise of crime in France, if you see the rise of crime in Spain, Germany, Italy, it has been rising everywhere in Europe. There are only few countries who had, the courage to call spade a spade, and the emergence of right-wing leaders or the nationalistic leaders is what is irking the cabal and the Soros. Soros has been pushing for this pro-liberal immigrant laws so that the demography of the Europe can be permanently changed. So I call it the immigration jihad. Then it's a new form of jihad called, there is land jihad, law jihad, bank jihad. So there is immigration jihad, which is a new term which can be used for this. How? Now, take it back 20 years back when Colonel Gaddafi was alive. He said that we will take the Europe without firing one bullet. And he hinted at this. So if you join the dots, so it's not something which is happening out of spar or, just happened, ho gaya and all that. Now, if I take you from there, let's go to the geography of Europe. There are two touch points in Europe, Italy and Greece. They are the two touch points in Europe. Greece has so many islands. I think last time when I went there, they told me there were around 600 islands. And a lot of them, more than 400 are such where nobody lives. So these are perfect spots for somebody to come and be there and kabza karne. Italy has a lot of islands again. So for these immigrants, these are the two sweet spots. Now, you know what is the financial condition of Greece. Greece is through a bit of a financial turmoil. We are helping them. But Greek Navy is not as good as which can defend all the islands. And I will also expose the hypocrisy of the left, of the Europeans and the Middle Easterns, how the policy changed for the same set of people. Now, when you look at these two touch points, these have been always under pressure from immigrants. And unfortunately, Europe had this policy of, welcoming immigrants and saying that we are humanitarian and all that crap. But eventually, Europe is not realizing that their, I think, birth rate I recently checked is 0.2. 0.2. At 2.2, you are just replacing. At 2.2, you are replacing or growing. 0.2. So that means the Europeans, the native Europeans are depleting and the immigrants have started controlling the Europe. Now, there is one more angle to it. A lot of Chinese money in the virtue of real estate. First of all, Chinese are taking the money as loans for investment and routing that part of that money back and buying the real estate in Europe. So there's a two-way thing happening. It's even happening in Canada. So one way you take all the money from these European pension funds and all, their population is depleting. They are living in those good old houses from 5 generations because they don't need a new house. Right? And in fact, what is happening here, the money is being sent to China. China is routing this money back and trying to buy the precious real estate. Now, if you go to Galeries Lafayette in Paris, when I went the first time, it was all French. When I went last time, it was all Chinese salesmen. You can see the difference. You can see the difference what has happened at a practical level. 8 years in a row, whenever I used to go to Paris, I used to visit there. No, not to buy anything. I cannot afford to buy anything. By the way, I wanted to buy a coat once. I looked at the label, 800 euros. I said, I have to do one more job to buy that. So I said, okay, namaskar. Only, looking is good. Now, this is how the slow transition is happening. Now, if you look at this crisis, sir, this crisis has accelerated. This has accelerated. Though if I talk of Italy, 120,000, 1,20,000 immigrants have already landed in Italy.
Greece. Italy.
120,000 this year. From the beginning of this year, Abhi, I am talking only 9 months. Still 9th month is going on. And now if you look at this island of Lampedusa, more than the population of Lampedusa, what is there? I think the idea is here, you send a block of immigrants and you try to cover the island. If your natives are 5,000 and immigrants are 6,000, who will have a say? Who will call the shots? Who will control the island? You will control the island. And most of them possibly have come from Tunisia, and Tunisia is 99% Muslim. And remember, there were Al-Qaeda attacks on tourists in Tunisia beaches a few years back. So Al-Qaeda is very much active in Tunisia. And there were people from Tunisia who attacked a US, I think, one of the US warships also. So these two nations also have a history of mystery and history of all this around them. Now, if you're suddenly these people coming and attacking an island of 5,000 with 6,000 immigrants, it is not migration. It is land jihad. It is immigration.
Invasion.
Land jihad, immigration jihad, sir. Kulke bolte hai na? I mean, let's not beat around the bush. We can use flowery English, but this is what the real.
So, Sumitji, with your permission, let us show them some of the videos. We have some videos for you viewers. Let us show them the videos. First video, please. You can speak to it, Sumitji. Yeah.
These are the boats which are coming. At one point of time, hundreds of boats are landing there. Same time. Ek saath. I mean, this is not a coincidence. Who told them to leave at the same time? Who arranged the boats? Who sent to one particular island? You have so many Greek islands at auction. You have so many Italian islands at auction. But these hundreds of boats coming in 1 hour and landing at the same island. What does 1 hour mean? You have no time to react. Aapke paas reaction ka time hi nahi. That is what the video primarily talks about. 100 plus boats landing in 1 hour. No time to react. Even Italian Navy could not have done much. Second video, Sachinji. If we can show the second video.
Yeah, it's coming up.
So this is the kiosk. This is the kiosk.
Yeah.
So everything is shattered. Everything is falling apart. Well, the kiosk has taken over the Italian ethos, Italian culture, and Italian values.
Third one coming up.
Italians struggling. Now, this is what exactly happens, sir, when you have 5,000 people and you're invaded by 6,000 people. That's what exactly happens. Now, how did this all happen? Greece and Italy are on the target. Now, Greece has good relations with India. And we have done that 2+1 with Greece, Cyprus, and Israel. Now, Italy had very good relations with India after Miss, what is her name? Meloni. Miss Meloni has taken over as the Prime Minister of Italy. And you have seen in G20, the things went very well. And, it was all good. And she respects Prime Minister Modi because she believes that he's a very tall leader. She was the first world leader to acknowledge that Prime Minister Modi is the leader of the global south in her first visit to India. She said that clearly. And she's looking for Italy to work closely with India because she knows that, you have to be close to democracies to prevail. China is not an option. In the G20, she had a bombshell thrown. She told Chinese, look, we are walking out of BRI. Now, what is the tactical reason? If Italy walks out of the BRI has to pass through Greece and enter Turkey. Now, Greece and Turkey don't go hand in hand. So when Italy walks out, so how will BRI hit the sea? So Greece and Turkey is not an option. So suddenly the BRI becomes a conceptual problem. And Greeks are getting a lot of support from us, and even Greeks will never agree the road to pass through Turkey. Now the new alternative corridor which we have announced, that is already there, and it's the biggest world news. In fact, Sree sir, I had made a small video on that, and I think it got millions of views across all the medias of the world. I had just shown how does this corridor run. But anyway, that's not the issue here. So when these things are happening, China is rattled. China is rattled. People like Soros, who had worked very hard to make sure Giorgia Meloni does not get elected. He did not want her to get elected. He had put all the things, including the kitchen sink, to make sure this lady does not get elected. And what has she done? When she went back from India, she has announced 6 months of emergency. It's an emergency in Italy. Because now you see a trend. The trend has changed. First, we would have a boat coming. Does be slow. Now we have hundreds of people coming at one point of time. So that means they left at one point of time. They had a direction. They had a plan. They had a mission. They had one island in Nazar. I mean, we have to go to this island. So this is a new form of jihad which is hitting the Europe. Now I fear the next target will be Greece. And Greece, if you look at those 400 inhabited islands, they can easily go and live there. No questions asked.
Uninhabited islands.
Uninhabited. Nobody lives there. Nobody lives there. So 200 islands. If you like these islands like Agena or Gracia or this Mendoza and all those monoliths, they're very small populations there. There's no way if this kind of immigration, kind of sea of immigrants comes and they can handle them and forget the military, forget the navy. I mean, they're not really up to the mark, unfortunately, to handle this. So what is happening in Europe? Europe is being invaded by and through, these Muslim jihad, Islamic jihad. This is what is happening. Meticulous planning. Again, what happened in France. So even in France, you see 7 to 9% of the Muslim population has really caused the hell to break loose there. So now Greece, Italy is under target. Germany, you already know go zones for the police. A lot of zones where the police cannot go. You have seen the quantum of crime rise in Germany. Right? Spain, again, it's happening. The good thing about Italy is that the people of Italy have hit the roads and the government of Italy is talking about it. The problem here is Germans have hit the roads, but the German chancellor is not talking. Spanish government has started talking about it, but people have hit the roads. Unfortunately, a lot of French people have hit the roads, but unfortunately, Macron is not talking about it. And remember last time, what did he say? He said that these riots happened because people are playing this art of line of duty or something, video games. It's because of that. So if that is the kind of hypocrisy we have, and let me remind you, sir, out of every 3 kids admitted in the school who have a name Muhammad. I mean, this is again open there. So if you look at the France, you might see that the demographics of France are good. They are growing. Their population is not sinking. But which section of the population is growing? The essay testers look at every 10 kids admitted in the school and what are the names. So when you look at the names, you can get the story. So slowly, in next 30, 40 years, the demography of France will be permanently reversed. If Italy doesn't do things, it will be reversed. Greece doesn't do things, it will not be reversed. And with Chinese money coming in, Soros cabal at work, and this immigration jihad or, what they call encroachment jihad happening, Europe is bound to fall. And I had predicted on your show earlier and various other shows and channels. So the clash of civilizations will start from Europe. The clash of civilizations has to start from Europe because you can already see this research. It has started coming up. Now, question which I want to address after this is, we know this background fine. What happened? When Italians wanted to do a lot of cooperation in India, when Chinese were snubbed in G20, when G20 moved on without Chinese, a new corridor is announced, Turkey is out of the game. Suddenly, and Greece, we have done this 2+1 and all. Suddenly, the person who is here is China. George Soros, he doesn't want that to happen. So, my assessment says that this was triggered. This was triggered by a group of people with vested interest who want Giorgia Meloni to get out of the power. They want a mumble-numble, kamzor sarkar to come in. They don't want nationalist governments, what I've been saying. Anybody who's a nationalist, irks them. I think this whole idea is to break hell, cause havoc in Italy, and Greece will be the target. And these are the two things. And remember, sir, Erdogan has been always threatening. If you don't walk the talk with me, I will open my doors of immigrants and they will really flood the whole of Europe. And we have seen how a province like, Birmingham in UK has gone bankrupt because the immigrants have been siphoning or sucking all the resources of the province. Now the province is bankrupt. And let me give you one more example, she said. Why Saudi Arabia is not taking even one immigrant? Why all the Islamic countries are not taking even one immigrant? And as per some media reports, recently they tried to approach Saudi. How did Saudis treat them? They're fired on all. And according to the reports, Hundreds of people have been feared dead. They fired at them all and all the boats were drowned. It happened when they tried to reach Saudi Arabia. This is how MBS responded to immigrants. And this is how immigrants are being kind of responded here in Europe. And this is what is going to happen to Europe. And I want to remind here by Europe, if somebody is watching it, Dr. Jaishankar told you once, 1.5 years back, get out of this hibernation. What you believe is that world's problem is not your problem and your problem is global problem. Now, this is your problem. You have to deal with it. You have to handle with it. And you still want to be a part of this Russian-Ukrainian war. And you still want to, demonize Putin and go walk the talk with the Americans. I don't know, what are you going to get? You have a much bigger crisis at your hand. And as far as I know, Sree sir, none of these countries together are able to handle it. And what does the UN have to say? It's a collective problem of the Europe. मतलब सबकी समस्या है. सबकी समस्या मतलब किसी की समस्या नहीं. When I say it's a collective problem, that means there's nobody owner. It's a natural calamity. Live with it. भगवान की मर्जी है. It's something like that. What he has been trying to show. So this I see today. The clash of civilizations is getting nearer, sir. It is getting nearer. It has to. If you look at the ladder of coming up, it has come up as significant steps today. This is invasion. This is not crisis. You might want to say refugee crisis. No. How did so many boats reach within 1 hour one particular island? Sir, you want to say something, Ji?
Very quickly, if you look at the people, it's not a genuine refugee crisis because as far as I can see, it's all men.
Correct.
Right? So that tells you that this is a planned thing. Second thing, let us take this thing forward further. What is going to happen? Italy, Greece, all these people will start doing much more active patrolling of the international seas. Now, I don't know the laws, whether they can sink the boats within international waters or if they have to come to within Italy waters or Greece waters before they start saying, if you move 1 foot, I'm going to fire at you and sink your boat. Right? I'm talking drastic, that people are going to die. This is the only way. You can't do anything else. You can't go and stop them at the source because that is not your territory. You can only defend your territory. What are your thoughts on this? How do you think this is going to play out?
Sree sir, that's why I brought in this Saudi Arabia wala episode. So if Saudis can have one set of rules in handling these immigrants, if Islamic countries do not want one Muslim refugee, so the onus is not on Christian countries to take refugees. How can the onus, there are 57, 56 Muslim countries, when they don't want the Muslim refugees, as per some clerics in the Islamic world, they are very sure, say these people are sorry to use the word, as per them, they are saying these people are the rot of our world. They are good for nothing. They will not work. They are not competent to work. They don't want to work. We are fleshing them out. You want to take our shit and keep it in your room? That is your problem. I mean, that is what these clerics have to say. That is why Muslim or the Islamic countries are very clear. We don't want any of these people. Bhaiya, hame nahi chahiye. When Saudis have a right of firing on them, what is the right? What is the right vis-a-vis this? Right? This is exactly what I was telling. So the border guards accused of killing hundreds of African migrants. Here it should be written African or Muslim migrants because majority of them come from Muslim countries. So if Saudis forget letting them in, they are killing them literally. What is the what is the push Europe is going to take? Why the world is coming after Giorgia Meloni? What is her? She is entitled to defend her land, and people of Italy have voted her to defend her land, and everybody has a right to its religion, customs, and tradition. Sir, Sree said direct bole yahan pe, the idea is demographic change. The idea seems to be perfect demographic change. You start with islands. It goes to it. I will want to take your example, this example, and correlate it with Kashmir. Why did this Hindu genocide or why did this Hindu killing start in Kashmir? Because you wanted that Hindu population there was 1.5%. The easiest way to do 𝗤𝙗𝙬 was Kashmir. To start 𝗤𝙗𝙬 was Kashmir because only 1.5% Hindus have to be uprooted. So likewise, this island of 5,000 capture it by 6,000. Likewise, you identify the islands. By कहीं 5,000 है, कहीं 2,000 है, capture it by 2,000, 3,000. Just 10-20% more than the population of the island, you get the islands. Once you get the islands, you get the periphery. Once you get the periphery, you start dominance of the periphery. Then tomorrow, if these immigrants want to raise a flag of, let's say, some Tunisia there, how can you stop it? Can you stop them? What can you do to stop them? Now, if they say, oh, Tunisians are welcome, more Tunisians can come in. Now, these islands can be used for illegal drugs, flush trade, everything can be run out of these islands. My problem is, how can world have double standards? When it comes to Saudi Arabia, firing at them, nobody seems to utter a word. When it comes to Italians and everybody is up in arms, oh, what is Giorgia Meloni doing, right, being nationalist, ye hai, wo hai. But why are they among Saudis? And why Islamic countries, why this OIC is silent? Why these hypocrites of OIC are silent? Why they are not taking these refugees? Why this OPEC countries, my OPEC plus minus Russians and Christian countries are silent? Because most of them are Muslim countries. Why is the Islamic world silent? Why no fatwas are being issued for that? Why OIC is silent? Why Pakistan is silent? How many million refugees is Pakistan willing to take? Answer is zero. Answer is zero. In fact, 700,000 Pakistanis have left Pakistan last year, looking for better places. So my problem here is that there is a turmoil in the Islamic world, and this turmoil is exploding. I'm sorry to say, I'm not trying to generalize, but for the sake of explanation, the cancer is spreading. If cancer keeps on spreading, the civilizations, your civilization, my civilization, which have a complete entitlement to live, I am entitled to have my civilization. Sir, mere purkho ki mitti hai is zameen mein. My ashes of my ancestors are in this land. This land belongs to me. I cannot have somebody come in a boat and take away this land. I mean, this is hilarious. This is completely absurd. When I look at Italians, the land belongs to them. Their ancestors are buried in that land. They are a part of soil now. This soil is their ancestors. How can somebody come in a boat and invade that? And where is UN? Where is WHO? Where is all these people? They are all silent. And what is UN trying to say? It is a collective problem of Europe. What collective problem of Europe? So you should have laws that these immigrants could be given some relief, could be given some rehabilitation. In their own countries, you can give some aid, you can give some khana, pina, dawai. That is okay. But you cannot allow them in the name of immigration to invade land. And in Islam, there's a concept of this, what Islamic and non-Islamic land. So, non-Islamic land has to be converted to Islamic land. That is what Islam's teachings are. So is something like that happening? Is something like that percolating? I don't know. But when I look at things, it looks like that. It looks a very organized effort, and that is what is worrying. And if this model is being perfected at Italy or Greece, how do I know this model will not be perfected somewhere else? How do I know this model will not be replicated somewhere else? And if you recently look, I was looking at a video, sir. Recently, somewhere in the US, there were these 5,000 plus Shiites, wearing in this black dress. They had a procession across one of the major cities of US. It happened, and there were clerics and police protecting them. So this identity is a problem. I mean, you want to live in London, but have an Iranian life and a Persian wife, and that won't happen. Those things don't happen. You are trying to impose your identity, your beliefs on the whole world, where that is not going to happen. And then you want to marry the white girls. And Sree sir made a brilliant point, which I appreciate, is why only men? If it's a refugee crisis, we should see women, we should see children. Why only men? Why these young men between 15, 18 to 24, 26? Why only these men? Where are the old? Where are the women? Where are the kids? And all of them are able-bodied men. Able-bodied men. So what is your intention? Your intention is to go and rape girls? Is to go and impregnate them? And if you tell me where do you draw this inference from?
Islamize Europe. Islamize Europe.
वही तो कह रहा हूँ ना सर. Land jihad, encroachment jihad. Sir, wasn't Pakistan army used by Pakistan to rape Bangladeshis? Bangladeshi women?
Oh yes.
More than 200,000 women were raped. It's a documented history. Where in the world the army of a sovereign country, what to call it, sovereign country, Banana Republic Pakistan, is being given instructions, you go and rape the women of the other country or other part of that time it was part of Pakistan only. If that can happen, how do we know what is the intention of these men? And how can the men of this island of 5,000 defend their women? The point jo aapne laya, bada acha point hai. These are all men. These are 6,000 men. Even if I go by ratio of 50-50, how can 3,000 men defend their women against 6,000 men? How is it possible? So we are looking at a big, big problem. And one thing these jihadis forget, if they look at the history of the Europe has seen 1,000 years of war. Europe has lived and breathed and has always seen blood and war. You are awakening a sleeping tiger, I would say. A sleeping tiger. Don't meddle around with Europe, because if these people get back to what they have been, then you have had it. And so eventually where will it head? It will be Europe versus Islamic invasion of Europe. Uske baad kya jayega? It will be Islam versus Christianity, the clash of civilizations. And what I could foresee years back, I'm reiterating that point, sir. It is going to start from Europe again. The way Europe is disintegrated, the way Europe has lost its priorities, the way Europe is busy doing this Russian-Ukrainian war, I don't know. With due respect to Christians, I don't know what kind of buffoons are you. You're killing each other in the name of Russian-Ukraine. The person who is dying on the either side is a Christian. And you see an Islamic invasion reaching your doorstep. I mean, what kind of a hypocrisy is happening? How long can the world be ostrich? How long you can choose to be silent and not to talk about it? I mean, the onus is not people like me and Sree Iyer to talk about it. You have to talk about it. Where are the tallest leaders of the world? What is your solution? If Africa needs help, bhaiya, de do na. Let Italy send two shiploads of anaj, one shipload of dawai and all. That is okay. Let Greeks send what they can. But that doesn't mean you get them and give them your land. And what had Chanakya had to say? Acharya Chanakya said, you should help immigrants. You should help them, but not invite them on your land, not in your society. Give them food, give them relief. Karo, humanitarian aid is okay, but not at the cost of your land, ladies, and legitimacy. Sorry, Mr. Europe, I have to be direct with you. It is land, ladies, and legitimacy which is being questioned. It is invasion of Europe, Islamic invasion of Europe, which is happening, and these all people are in hibernation. They are busy trying to demonize Giorgia Meloni. They are busy trying to downplay Greeks. They are walking with the Americans, and these Ukrainians and Russians, they're busy killing each other. And all are Christians. And then there is this atheist China who has lost all his nuts and bolts. They don't know what they are trying to do, where they are trying to go, and they are trying to bring an imminent third world war to the world. So world is looking at two possibilities. If it is not controlled very fast, it is looking at a clash of civilizations, epicenter Europe, time ki baat hai, and an imminent third world war. If again this Russian-Ukrainian conflict doesn't stop. How powerful the deep state has become, how weak the elected governments have become, how weak the democracies have become, and how helpless people like you and me have become. I can't see a worse particularly. Tamasha bolte hai na. I can't see a worse tamasha than this, what is happening here. And you and me, who are common people, have this sense to talk, think and deliberate it. And you are telling me the tallest leaders of the world with all the resources at their command, all the intelligence agencies, all the high-tech gear and all, they don't know about it. Well, you fool me once, shame on me. You fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, shame on me. Now we all have to hang our shirts on shame. And these people are trying to be ignorant. Aren't they understanding what is the policy of the Islamic world? What is Saudi doing with immigrants? Why OIC is silent? Why are these hypocrites, goddamn hypocrites of the world, silent? They are talking about Kashmir. They dare to talk about my country. What about these countries? Why are you not talking about them? So as long as Islamic invasion is happening, you are happy. And I will tell you one thing, sir. This Al-Jazeera's of the world, she said, will not talk about it. If there was an instance recently, a Muslim boy was there was a class, and a Hindu-Muslim boy, something happened. These Al Jazeera guys were pestering my life. Come, sir, aajao, you give us one bite, Anything here happens to a Muslim, they will, make my life hell and want me to come and talk about it. But when these things happen, this is the hypocrisy which we have to call out, sir. This is the hypocrisy, because if we don't call out, I read somewhere, how do evil men and evil forces, dominate or are able to do their things? When good men, Sharif too, and good forces keep silent. मैंने तो कुछ देखा ही नहीं. When we choose to keep silent, that is how these people are able to dominate. If we even raise our voice, what we are doing through PGurus in the national service and in the service of humanity, these people cannot talk about it. My problem is, why is the world silent? Why are the 150 Christian countries silent? Why is OIC silent? Why Islamic countries silent? You are trying to divide and conquer. You are letting this poor lady to fend for herself and fall. Then you will be happy. Oh, good. Giorgia Meloni could not run quickly. You are anti-woman. You don't want women leaders to be successful in the world. You are hypocrites of first order. You don't want any woman leader to be successful because she's a woman, so you're ganging up in her. Oh, the lady thi na bhaiya nahi kar pai, oh, let her fall. Yes, sir.
One big question, Sachin, Sumiji, before we go to questions, just answer this one question of mine. What does Soros gain by this?
Okay, what does Soros gain by this? Soros has business interests, sir. He has interest in agriculture, mining, power, and food. So by doing this, he wants his friendly regimes and states to come. That is how deep state has traditionally worked. We can do some one-day program on deep state, and I can take you hours into it. Now, how they have done now, when nationalistic governments are coming, I want to say one thing on PGurus channel. I know this channel goes international and this channel goes to all parts of the world. There was a disease called COVID, Chinese virus, very contagious, Omicron and Delta and all. I want something more contagious, something more powerful to hit all of us. You know what? The day nationalism becomes more contagious than COVID, the world will become a safer place. The world will become a safer place. Because then everybody is my army, everybody is my sipahi, everybody is my karyakarta, or everybody is the nation builder. This nationalism is what deep state hates. This nationalism is what deep state cannot state. They want this Muli Jelvi Sarkar. They want a Manmohan Singh ji who will say coalition dharma. When the loot and plunder is happening, he wants to say, kya karo bhaiya, coalition dharma. They don't want a Modi. They don't want a Modi to come. Modi is bad. Giorgia Meloni is bad. Donald Trump is bad. So people like them are bad. They want these people who are greedy, who love lavish lives, who love their yachts and who love their girlfriends and who love what all. I don't want to get into anybody's personal life, but who love this, who want to go to Karabi with their friends. So these people who eat dal chawal and are wearing, vibhuti like you and me, are wearing khadi ka kurta and all, they are bad people. They are seen retrograde people, Sanatani, Sanghi, Orthodox, these Hindu nationalists and all. But these people who imitate the West, who wear Burberry jackets, who wear all these things, they are the elite people of the world. I mean, I should have 20 girlfriends. I should be having champagne and I should be having all the things. I should be in a Karabi. I should be wearing my shorts and going around at the beach time. I'm happy, yeah, and cool. But I'm wearing kurta. I'm wearing this, cheap and Alice. Choro. Alice. Alice means low standard. There was a serial here. They used to say Alice. So we are all Alice people. And what do some people tell us? Some people tell us, Banana Republic mango people. Banana and आप जानते हैं ना केला, mango इनके आम लोग, and we are also the people who go in cattle class. So we are the cattle of the cattle class. We're the mango people of the banana republic. But from us, when there's a person like Modi who comes and takes the stage, and there's a person like Meloni who comes and takes the stage, there are these nationalists who work selflessly for the country and defend the interests of the country. People like Soros and their empires start shaking. It's a multi-billion-dollar empire. They're financing a lot of things. So they go all out. They hit below the belt. They use all the tactics. They use all the tricks of the trade to weaken these governments. Nationalism is their biggest threat because nationalists are selfless. They don't think about themselves. Right, so you want to say?
Actually, you made a point here. I interviewed Congressman Ro Khanna, and I got a lot of flack for it that I was going easy on him. One of the things that he made a point is, he said he doesn't like the word nationalism. He likes the word patriotism. He was trying to walk a thin line between those two words. And again, this is a problem with Democratic Party, in my opinion, that they are too beholden to George Soros. That link has to be broken there. Unless that happens, this thing will continue because US will stay muted. They are going to, kuch nahi ho raha, things are all happening here. Kuch nahi ho raha. This is how they, right.
मैं यहाँ देखता हूँ ये तो मैंने देखा ही नहीं एक सर हमारे यहाँ ना दिल्ली में there's a saying in Punjabi, with due respect to Punjabis, they say मैंने तेनू वेखिया ही नहीं, I didn't see you, मैं तेनू वेखिया ही नहीं. It's what they're doing exactly. They're doing, I didn't see it, man, it doesn't happen. And these hypocrites are so rattled by this lady. They want this lady to fail at any cost. They don't want women. They don't like women. They don't like women leadership, sir. I'm very direct. They don't like women. There is a problem with them. There's this male, white dominated. And what is George Soros son doing visiting White House 17 times? What is his business there? Kya wo koi legislator hai, congressman hai kya? Is he some policy making? Why is this White House become his khala ka ghar? He can come anytime and see people. I don't think Americans have access to the White House. I don't know people like you, how many times you have been to White House? Can you go to White House 17 times in 3 years? I don't know that. But what makes him so special? And he's saying I'm worse than my father. He's saying I'm worse than my father. That is my stars on my hair. And I pity these. I don't want to bring this, but I pity these Ukrainians and Russians. Why are you Christians killing each other? And what is the Pope doing? Due respects to Pope, sir, what are you doing? Even Christians are killing each other. I mean, can you have such an absurdity? And your countries are falling one after one to Islamic invasion. I mean, I will be direct. I don't mince my words. And you are busy talking here, there. And I heard that Vatican wanted to be an observer in G20. Arey bhaiya, what is your business in G20? Why do you want to be observer there? I mean, you should go and you should camp Mr. Pope in Ukraine, in Russia, and tell them stop the war on my dead body. Ladai roko. And you're left that to a Sanatani, Modi to do it, and you are just waiting and washing and having your champagne and wine. Well, good luck to you, and you see what is happening in Italy. And what I'm worried, sir, if the model perfects in Italy, it will not stop in Italy. It will not stop in Italy. It will go to Italy. I think we have a lot of questions now, so we have to kind of take a lot of questions.
Yeah, let's take some questions now. Thank you. Thank you. First question from Karthik Vishwanathan. Sir, why no strong action is taken against Soros? Is he so powerful to be untouched? Karthik, he donated $200+ million to the Democratic Party. Why will they touch him? Go ahead.
Sir, 200 million to aapko wo dikhega na, which is
he's the biggest donor.
Which is known. What about those benamis? And let me tell you one more thing. I should not talk about it, but aaj bol deta hu. Somebody told me, one elite told me once, elite. He told me, Sumit ji, how do you manage your ways in Washington? I said, no, I don't know. Bhai, main to garib aadmi, mere ko kya pata? Bade log. Bola, you carry this much a pouch, red pouch. What is this? Can I in red pouch you have those branded diamonds? Branded diamonds. You can have 5 diamonds, 10 diamonds, which can be worth 10, 20, $30 million. You just meet somebody. Oh, I just wanted to get you something, and you just put chota sa pouch. That Thatasa pouch might have those branded diamonds, which can be resold anywhere. And I can't take names. I know some of the rich and elite, when they travel, they stop by Antwerp, or they have their contacts in Antwerp, and which is controlled by our Gujaratis, by the way, Gujarati brothers. And they get these pouches. So they usually tell them 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, 5 million, 3 million. So they will give you a pouch worth 10 million, 20 million, $30 million. So you keep on passing these pouches. Namaste. If this is how it happens, then you have these funds, then you have these sovereign funds, then you have these tax havens. So it's not only 200 million, Sree sir. These are diamond pouches which do a magic. Then there are these Cayman Island accounts. Then there are these benamis. And I was just reading that some Baijus have parked some $533 million in some fund in USA. I mean, it was today's news. I send you that. So when such chamatkars can also happen. So 200 is what we see, but it is the tip of the iceberg. 90% is what we don't see. That should answer.
I have a bone to pick with Baijus. I've been saying this many times. People don't seem to pick up on this. They wrongly use the phrase too good. TOOGOOD. They wrongly use the phrase. They do it the opposite. If somebody says something is too good, that means it is wrong. It is bad. And they cleverly say TWO good is TOO good. That is their sales mantra. Shah Rukh Khan comes and does that. तुम पढ़ाने वाले हो, गलत पढ़ा रहे हो.
खुद भी पढ़ना चाहिए.
What can I say?
खुद भी पढ़ना चाहिए.
खुद भी पढ़ना चाहिए. Right.
PGurus चैनल देखेंगे तो सीख जाएंगे. PGurus चैनल देखेंगे तो सीख जाएंगे.
General Mad AKM, what is Italian mafia going to do their homeland? They sold their soul to money over country. They're all sitting in US now. Go ahead.
No, the Sicily, these, and by the way, this island is part of Sicily. They have been moved. A lot of the people have been moved to God on those days. They have been rusted now. They are not interested in this. Now they have become too lazy with the wine and all that and champagnes. They are living a cozy life, thinking that it will not hit them, but the eventual bit hit them. It's a matter of time.
Star Child wants to know why baby Ariha is not returned to India. Is MEA a failure in this scenario?
I think baby Ariha is the case which has been happening in Germany. If I'm right, sorry. I think there have been some complications and it is being worked out. Look, guys, my friends, it's not a question of MEA right or wrong. When you go to a country, there are a set of rules. I will give you one definition of culture, which I learned after traveling the world. What is culture? Culture is accepted way of life, business, society, and living. It has nothing to do with right or wrong, legal, illegal, moral, immoral. जो चलता है, जो बिकता है, जो होता है, वो culture है. So every country has its own set of rules. Every country has its own culture. So you can't go and either you adapt that or you don't adapt that. You can't go in Germany and create an India there. Well, it's not so. It won't happen like that. Germany will run by the German law. That's the trade-off you do. That's like.
Guys, MEA works very, very hard. Huh? It's not easy to
Yeah,
be in MEA
not
shoes. I'm telling you from personal experience. Don't. I mean, they are trying very hard, and there are. See, India has spread all over the world. We have so many places. By law of averages, you're going to have one, two problems like this. So you just have to give them time. I have been telling. I think Avijit Iyer, another guest on our show, says you need to triple the number of IFS officers so that the strength in the consulates can be increased. But it's still in paper, it's not been implemented yet. Next one, please. Magnet Ranga wants to know, Namaskar, refugees seem to be used as a strategy in many nations. Can governments ban voting rights of such refugees and also enforce some restrictions on refugees and their progeny? Magnet Ranga, things are happening in US. They have started, passing sweeping legislation to not allow people to even get into the basic benefits, which is why they used to come to England and Germany. Because once you land, legal or illegal, you got some basic benefits, including home, food, shelter, clothing, and all that stuff. Even that is being denied. But who's going to enforce it? You have to monitor the seas. You have to patrol the seas. And again, like I told you, international waters versus national waters. If they are on international waters, what can you do? Right? Go ahead.
Sir, my limited take on this is that it's a fight between land and culture, right and sovereignty. You as a country have to decide. You have to take a call. So these took a call. They did what they had to do. And if you are unable to take that call, if your sovereignty and your so-called human values are bigger than your land and culture, this is bound to happen. You have to protect your own land. Nobody is going to come and protect your own land. And let me tell you, sir, Ranga sir, this is not the last. This is one of the first. This will not stop. Unless until you take some drastic measures and have the courage to do it. You don't have the courage, you pay the price.
Next one, please.
Next question.
Krishnamurti Gopalan wants to know, what goes around comes around? Europe stole from Africa and it's repayment time. Can you please share your views?
You see, Africa as such is a different proposition. Yes, Europe stole from Africa when the whole world stole from Africa. And Africa has been looted and plundered. There's no doubt on it. Nobody can deny that. That's historical fact. Now, the challenge here is there is immigrants from only one particular religion and one particular belief are invading. I'm using the word invading. If you have 10, 20 people landing in a boat once in a week, it's okay. It's a refugee problem. But if I have more people landing than the population of the island and in one particular day, in one particular hour, it's a planet. Then it's different. And they come from one particular region, one particular set of beliefs. Then why Christians are not leaving Africa? Even Christians have been persecuted in Africa. And let me tell you to another aspect of it. So where our Christians are in minority in Africa, they've been all persecuted. While as wherever Muslims are in minority, Christians have not persecuted Muslims. But on the other way around, it has happened. Look at Boko Haram.
Look at India.
Look at India. You look at Boko Haram.
No, not India. Sorry. Look at Pakistan. Sorry, not India. Pakistan. Christians are getting, they get scavenging jobs. Nothing else.
Kuch nahi milta aur. And how many girls has Boko Haram taken? They are all Christian girls who have used as sex slaves. What has the world done for that? What has the Christian community done for that?
Next one, please. Karthik Vishwanathan again. Sir, what is the story of Chinese bag that Chinese premier was carrying? This is in G20.
Interesting story, Karthik ji. There were some things which were in that bag. Chinese wanted to carry that bag to the venue. When the security forces discovered that, they wanted them to show the bag as per security protocol. So Chinese were very adamant they didn't want to show what is inside the bag. And the security guys were also very adamant, will not let you know what is not inside the bag. So finally the truce was, not a truce, finally we were told, either we look into the bag, you carry it out, or you be in the hotel, the bag will be in the hotel, or you can send it to the Chinese embassy. As per the diplomatic protocols and right, they have sent it to the Chinese embassy. So there was something fishy in that bag. We don't know what was in the bag. But our security was very vigilant. We did not let them carry it to the G20 venue. And let me tell you, after Giorgia Meloni said she's walking out of BRI, you see the hell has started breaking loose in Italy. Everything in geopolitics is connected. Nothing is seen in isolation. So there's something which is connected somewhere.
Ajit Menon wants to know, will there be a rise of right wing in Europe, given that secularism has caused huge crisis, particularly after Corona? Does Soros have a hand in corona spread?
Soros, and there is a concept called these 300, deep state and 300. There's one more quadri called 300. They are responsible in every, legal, illegal spread what is happening in the whole world. So don't be surprised that Soros has a hand, because when you talk of the people like Soros, it is the power, it is the money, it is the cloud, it is assured money and a very luxurious life where you are a government above the governments. So people has always corrupted the people, power has always corrupted the people, and absolute power has corrupted people more. That is what is happening here. So if you want the Europe to rise, everybody has. So it's not a question of right wing or left wing. I think the nationalism has to rise. For me, in my opinion, what is the right wing? Right wing is somebody like Hitler. Right wing is somebody like Hitler. We should not confuse nationalism and right wing. Right wing is a Hitler. Nationalists are people like Modi, which are talking of country first. That is nationalism. Right wing is extreme. I'll go and kill somebody. I'll go and eliminate somebody. Nationalism does not mean violence. Nationalism does not, give you a license to kill and loot and plunder or just do ethnic cleansing. No. Nationalism is my country first, my interest of my people first. So nationalists in the Europe have to rise. People like Giorgia Meloni, more leaders like her have to rise. And all power to her, and all power to the females of Europe who have been, there has been witch hunting, there has been witch burning in Europe. Let's not forget this. This happened for hundreds of years. What was witch hunting and witch burning about? You declare anybody witch, she has to abscond. When you find her, you burn her out. Why were witches only women? भैया ये क्या कहते हैं उसको, भूत मेल नहीं होते थे. Why only a witch? Why were only women targeted in witch hunting? Why not men? This talks about deep-rooted democracy somewhere down the line. Next question.
VR Chakravarti wants to know, mere increase in numbers may completely change the demographics of the European countries, but they can only prosper anywhere if they can contribute to the creation of wealth. Do they have the skills? Absolutely not, Chakravarti. Yeah, they don't have any skills. Yeah.
They don't have any skills. They are seeing whatever Europe has built, that will last for 50, 60, 70 years. Baad mein dikhenge. You see how the idea of Pakistan failed, how the Riyasat-e-Madina, so-called, as per Imran Khan, Pakistan failed. So did Pakistan fail yesterday? It took 70 years for Pakistan to fail. So likewise, these people think for 78 years chalega, then we'll see, we'll find some other land, we'll see whom we have to invade. And by that time, we don't know what is going to be the plight of Islam. A lot of people say that Islam doesn't have a lot of plight. I don't know, but let's see. So they think for next meal, they think for next year. They don't think of civilization. No, they don't think. Itna nahi sochte.
Next question, please. Next question, please. Bakul Dada wants to know, will Islam-friendly leaders appear in EU? Given EU's free movement, could individual European countries come up with decree against Muslims?
I think Europe is at an existential crisis. They better come up with things which can protect their land and their culture, their land, ladies, and legitimacy. If they choose to be ostriches, well, they will go down in history. A lot of regimes, a lot of dynasties, and a lot of emperors, and a lot of empires have perished, in due course of time. So Europe can be no exception to that. And let me tell you one thing. When you have to defend your land, it costs sweat and blood both. So you have to be prepared for both. Nothing comes without sweat and blood. Only sweat will not help you, only blood will not help you. You need courage, sweat, and blood. If you are ready to give these three, you would save land, ladies, and legitimacy. These three you have to give.
Viewers, one small request. Please don't send any more questions for this hangout. We are really full. We would like to finish up the questions that have been asked thus far. Thank you so much. Anshuman Singh wants to know, Sumit sir, who are the primary countries or groups benefiting from this deep state and what is their motive?
You see, Anshumanji, the deep state is a concept wherein the elite of the world, it has politicians, it has military, it has industrialists. They are the rich and the privileged of the world who want to control and dominate the world. This is not a country specific. Don't think the members of deep state are not in India, by the way. They are also in India. Most of them are in Europe and US, but they're also in India, they're in Africa. It's a cabal which gets together and they work how to protect their own clan, how their own clan can be rich, prosperous, and can be thriving, how they can rule the world. Have you seen the Kashmir Files? I like one dialogue, $1 billion dialogue. There the lady says, Krishna, system, sarkar kisi ki bhi ho, system to hamara hai. Sarkar kisi ki bhi ho, system to hamara hai. This system at a global level is called deep state. Sarkar can be anybody, but system is they still run it, they control it. Why did Prime Minister Modi say, मैंने बहुत बड़े लोगों से पंगा ले लिया, मेरी जान को खतरा है? How does a SPG protect fear his life? It's not these terrorists and jihadis and all these. They can't even get near to him. These are such powerful people. When you disrupt these lobbies, when you disrupt their cash flows, they come mad after you. They're used to being privileged and elite. So money gives you privilege and elite. Money is the source of power. So they love this power. They have a lust for this power. So that's how it is. What is deep state is? So deep state is not confined to a geography. It is a cabal, international cabal, or a clan which works.
Thank you, Vishal, for your generous gift. Sree sir, I'm in EST. I've been sending emails and messages on Telegram. Something that has been propagated as some government spokesperson say, I'm willing to pay 200 to listen to me. Vishal, I'll try to respond to you. I have to go back and look at Telegram. It's actually overflowing in my desktop folder. It's just not. Sometimes they're not possible to address every social media platform. Vishal, I'll take a look at it now that you have actually made a request. I will take a look at it. Next question, please. Sharvin Shelke, thank you for your generous offer. If China has not occupied Indian part of the LAC, why are multiple rounds of talks held with Chinese military? Why fund for HAL AMCA not approved?
Okay, I'll answer that. First of all,
Yes,
Shravanji, there were 5 friction points, right? 3 have been settled. I think Dipsak and Demchuk is still to be settled. How does it work? You see, it's like this. Here is China, here is India. When we talk of the LAC, though we should call it Indo-Tibetan frontier now, we should not call it LAC, but I'll address it as LAC. LAC, 10 kilometers on Indian side, 10 kilometers of Chinese side is a buffer zone. Nobody is supposed to come here. Nobody is supposed to have a permanent presence. You can come from patrolling and go. So there's the agreement around the LAC. What Chinese did, they came, let's say 1 kilometer ahead in their buffer zone. So now the buffer zone from 10 kilometers to only 8 kilometers. Then they come one more point, here they come 2 kilometers ahead. So here the buffer zone is only 6 kilometers. So when they come in their buffer zone ahead, we also come in our buffer zone. But neither the Chinese nor we have violated the LAC. We have both come near to each other, and there are points where with the aerial distance is less than 1 kilometer. So this concept of somebody has taken your territory, this is the facade and the canard which has been spread. And I have been telling my lot of Congress friends who come on various TV debates, and I have appealed to their tallest of spokesperson. मैंने कहा भैया ऐसा करो, अपने दफ्तर जाओ and get from Rahul Gandhi latitude and longitude, which is the area which China has taken. You're saying 20,000 square kilometers. Which area they have taken? Give us the latitude and longitude. Give it to the whole world. Let all the satellites of the world come and check it. If your claims are right, let somebody in the world will come and check it. There are hundreds, thousands of satellites out there. They can validate your claims, but I have not got that latitude and longitude so far. Point number 2. When we are talking of resolution, so where these friction points have been created, 3 of them have been resolved. 2 are being work in progress, which we are trying to resolve. But that doesn't mean that we are militarily not prepared. Militarily, we are prepared to handle even eventuality. When you talk of AMCA, you see, there is Tejas Mark 1, there is Tejas Mark 2. Currently, Tejas Mark 2 funds are being given. It is kind of an approval. Once we are done with Mark 2, when we have crossed the stage of Mark 2, then we will go to AMCA. AMCA is 5.5 generations, by the way. 5.5 and a half generations, 5 generations. So it is not AMCA is shelved or funds are not given. Once we are done with Mark 2, when we reach a certain stage, then we go to AMCA. It is a gradual stage. You can give HAL all the things, but at the end of the day, what can HAL produce and deliver you? By the way, Mark II orders have been doubled in HAL, and this year HAL has also doubled its production capability. And I think in years to come, it has to go 2, 3, 4 times, because eventually when it will come to AMCA and Mark II and all, we won't be able to get catering to the Indian needs, so we also catering to the export needs. That is work in progress. That is something in mind, and that will be worked out. But when you talk of making the fighter aircrafts, it's not assembling a car. Even building the capacity is a big time process. It takes time. But already, if you see where we were almost doing 3 times of what we were around 7-8 years back.
Next question, please. Makpur wants to know why Christians are letting Muslims into their country.
Sir, यही तो मैं question पूछ रहा हूँ. This is exactly the question I'm asking. I mean, even questioned His Holiness, the Pope Francis. So why are you silent? You should be parking yourself in Russia and Ukraine, try to stop this war. Why are Christians killing each other? Forget, I have a bigger problem here. Christians are not letting Muslims in their country. Christians are killing each other. Why are you doing that? Why Americans are Christians, Russians are Christians, Ukrainians are Christians. Why are you hell-bent to destroy each other? And whole of the Europe is majority is Christian. Why are you hell-bent to killing each other? What the hell is wrong with you? भैया क्या हो गया है? I mean,
Elmer had hinted what could be the problem. I'm not going to repeat now. Go back to Elmer's videos, you guys. He already hinted what is the problem with the Pope. But the bigger thing here is every time China gets into trouble, just listen to me carefully, guys. Every time China gets into trouble, Soros gets into action. ये क्यों? Why?
क्यों? बिल्कुल सही कहा श्री सर. ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है? That is what we should ask.
ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है? Exactly. Thank you, Yuri, for your generous donation. Would you choose between 10 trillion economy, dharma, or sovereignty of people, country?
Well, we don't have to choose between Yuriji. We can have both of them going together, and both of them are going together by the grace of God. Last 4 or 5 years, we have added 1.8 trillion to our economy, and in next 7 to 8 years, we'll be at 10 trillion economy, and Desh, Dharma, and everything is going together. It's neither either or. And your manifestation of mind might say it is either or, it is not. So it's not between food and water. It's not between tea and coffee. I can have tea and coffee both. I can have food and water both. Right? I can have idli and sambar both. It's not idli or sambar. Well, you might have your choices, but I'll have both. So दोनों चल रहे. कृपा से महादेव की कृपा दोनों चल रहे. So,
go ahead.
So this is about my initiative of this advisory and consultancy services, wherein people can reach to me at 𝗤𝗚𝘂𝗍𝗫@gmail.com. This is the email address. And if you are having problems with life, business, career, finance, geopolitical impact on business and other things, you can write a mail to us and we'll slot your appointments. I want to thank you for the overwhelming support we have got on this initiative. You have given us a lot of love, a lot of trust, and a lot of faith in this. I thank you very much, and we'll be doing our best to serve you to the best of our ability. And it's a paid advisory, so you don't have to worry about confidentiality, privacy, and you can be anywhere in the world. It's on a video, so you can be institution, SME, organization, individual, NRI, student, anybody who is there. A lot of students and all have come to me, and we are trying to help them out to the best of our ability, and they're very happy with it. So your love, support, and trust is growing, and my endeavor to your service and to the service of nation is also growing. So on that note, I would like to thank you. Sree sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, and as always, a pleasure having you, Sumitji. Viewers, will be back in 1 hour's time with Sumitji, and we are going to be talking about our 30 minutes. Sorry, 30 minutes. 30 minutes. I'm so sorry. हमारे जिगरी दोस्त पाकिस्तान आ गए मैदान में.
And friends, buy your popcorn, buy your potato chips, have your coffee, lassi, charge whatever you have, sambar, idli, whatever you like. Have it, get into a relaxed mode, get your YouTube on a bigger TV screen, get your family together, and we are going to make some really hard-hitting talk today. And on that note, I want to thank you all. Namaskar, Pranam, Vande Mataram, Jai Hind, and Har 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 Mahadev.
Thank you.